wishes, Stephanie. So I tried to go on this carousel behind me, but they said it was only for children. I jokingly said I'm a child at heart, and I was pointing towards my heart, and she looked really embarrassed and started to offer to get her manager so that she could see if I could go on it. And I was like, I'm so sorry, it's a bad joke. I'm so sorry. Of course, it's just for children. Fine, fine, fine. I mean, not of course, but I'm not going to break any rules. I don't have to be on a carousel today, but I do want to talk to you because in my Sensible Chinese online course, we're going over, Kyle's talking about like different layers to learning the Chinese language, and I do think this is talked about, but is it talked about enough? Have I talked about it enough? I feel like it's time to review. Oh, I just found a really beautiful spot to stand in front of. I feel like because the stage I am at language learning with Chinese, and to move forward, and with the course that I'm doing, and with the conferences coming up, I really feel the need to review kind of the layering process that I've used so far in order to learn the language. So this is a bit of a review of and I keep thinking of like a hamburger, which is not my favorite food by far, but I do keep thinking of a hamburger and the layers in the hamburger. So if you're vegetarian, I'm terribly sorry. Think of a portobello burger, if you will. I think we're near the airport. Right, so here's accidentally, there's this beautiful bridge right here. Oh, look at these guys, look at these. Whoa. All right, and here's where I think we're gonna put my background is this, where are my sunglasses? Oh, this is gonna be squinty. But there's this beautiful little waterfall here. So let's see if I can cement myself here without falling over. Okay, so far, you know, I think that's too pretty to sit on. I'm gonna find a bench. Darn. All right. So, what have I done so far? I started off with the tracing of the characters with the app. And that really started to demystify the characters for me, and it put a physicality to it that was more than just staring at the characters, trying to figure out. I'm going to sit on a wet area because I have black pants on, and it's beautiful. There we go. Okay, so I traced the characters first. I heard the pinyin and the tones, but I didn't so much pay attention to them as much as just the meaning. So I focused on the meaning and the physicality of the tracing. That was the first thing I did. Then I realized, and I did that with an app that was using HSK1 characters. So I was learning those words, I suppose you could say. Yeah, those are words. I was learning those words first. But a lot of those words were, I think those were I haven't actually returned to that list in a long time, but if I remember right, which I think I am remembering, a lot of those words in that grouping were actual radicals, which I've then been focusing on a lot since then. So then I moved on, then I learned more about the radicals, and I started to focus on the meaning on the radicals, and I started to do different flashcard decks, and I went back and forth just a little bit between Anki and non-Anki. Let's just put it in that category, because Anki 1, still using it. Not as frequently as I'd like, but I'm on vacation. So yeah, there's that. So they're still heavy in meaning, but sound started to come through because I started to realize that some of the characters looked the same, but had different sounds. So I started to need the pinyin to help me figure out the meaning of some of them. Okay, so then the pinyin came in, and then I figured out that there was a need for the tones as well. So then I started layering the tones and practicing isolation exercises with the tones via an app and via micro videos on Instagram, like with Chinese with Eva, that kind of thing. And then also, sorry, that's not isolation. The apps were the isolation syllable and 2 syllables together. And then the Chinese with Eva and the different smaller micro clips of the language in sentences and phrases, that was not isolation exercises. Those were tones next to each other and in phrases and sentences, as I just said. So it built up basically from the meaning and the physicality of the strokes, and never with the intention of writing the characters by hand, but learning the order of the strokes and learning, how do I say this? Learning what's in a character, because radicals build up to strokes, build up to radicals build up to characters, blah, 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 blah. So being able to go backwards with that when you see a new character is an easier way to remember things, because then you're building and connecting on things that you learned before, and that seems to help. Even when I see a character now that I don't know, which is often, I can pick out parts of it that I know, because there's only 214 radicals. So, and although I'm not familiar with all of them yet, I will be eventually, and that will help. And now it's raining a lot more, and thunder. Okay, so I'm gonna head back inside. So there was that, and then I have built up other vocabulary decks, but the 214 radicals, which is all of them, is still the primary deck that I use. There's some decks that I poached online, borrowed, downloaded, whatever innocent word you want to use, but I'm super grateful for people that make these, so I can poach them, so other people can poach them, so we can spend more time on learning than creating, although there is something to be said for making your own, Maji, that's where I am, Maji Square. Anyway, there is something to be said for making your own cards, but there's also something to be said for just being able to study. Yeah, so there's that. So then I've been there. I've been there for a while. And that's kind of, let me think, is that where I've stopped? Is I'm doing the Anki. I'm still doing the isolation exercises with individual syllables. I'm still doing some sentence stuff. I downloaded, I'm trying to think of my other Anki decks. I started a whole bunch of them. I started one for Chinese names that I've never put anything in. I've started one for food. I've started one, all kinds of different decks. But then August hit, my schedule went crazy for work, and how cool is this place, right? And then I decided I needed somebody else to do my planning for a little bit, and that's when I signed up for the Sensible Chinese course. And so far we're doing a lot of background stuff, extremely similar, and this makes me really happy, extremely similar to kind of the path that I've done already, but filling in some of the gaps and the things that I didn't know, or that I learned and forgot. Like, for example, I believe there's about 8 or 9 different strokes. That's it. It's just how you combine them, make up these characters, especially the traditional characters. Oh my god, there are so many strokes in these things. Right? I'm turning around because I'm getting weird looks. I don't like weird looks. And it's kind of dark in here. Anyway, so yeah, there's things like that, and there's resources that he's pointing to that I either have seen before and haven't spent enough time on, or that I haven't seen before and really appreciate. So I really like how that course is set up, and I really like that I don't have to create, that was scary, I don't have to create my materials for the next few weeks. So as long as I'm doing this course, I'm just going to follow what he's doing and free up my bandwidth, as a friend of ours says, to do other stuff with studying the language. So there's that. So I'm pretty excited about that course. But honestly, I mean, how many weeks has it been? I stopped counting weeks, so I'd stop judging myself on how far I was. But I think we're probably, let's see, I started in April, so end of April, May, June, July, August. So I'm about 4 months in, and I've done heavy, sorry, just got in somebody's way, awesome. Heavy vocabulary with ample pronunciation work, but that was added on later on. So lots of meaning, lots of demystifying the characters so I could not be terrified when I saw them, which for me was really important. And some pronunciation, so I can use that to dig into the characters that are the same but aren't the same, because they exist. So there's all of that. So that's kind of where I am right now. So that's kind of the layering process that I did with the language. And it's funny because that kind of happened accidentally. And I'm not saying I'm a genius, folks. I was just sort of piecing things together and going where it seemed, where I needed to keep my motivation up and to keep learning in a way that kept me going, that kept me interested, and stimulated but not overstimulated and not over frustrated, and that seemed to work really well. What's really nice is look at this cool graffiti behind me. I'm so easily distracted. What's really nice is that in Kyle's Sensible Chinese course is, and I know this is going to sound like an advertisement, but he doesn't even know that I'm doing this. Like, I don't even think, like, it's all an automated course. I haven't yet said, hi, I'm taking your course, and by the way, I'm talking a lot about it here, although I'll probably do that sooner than later, just so he knows, just so that he's aware. Hi, Kyle. Nice to meet you for the first time. Anyway, the point is that it's nice to see that he's layering his teaching with us as well. So I guess the lesson here is, whoops, I accidentally probably kind of stumbled upon a way of learning the Chinese language that is less cognitively killing than other ways. Because I think the first few times that I tried to learn it, I know the first few times I tried to learn Chinese, it was the characters, the pinyin, the tones, and the vocabulary all at once, and it was like a few weeks and I was off because I just couldn't handle it. And I couldn't use any of it because it was remembering all of those at the same time wasn't working. And I know some of you, I think especially Maylene, were talking about don't do all of it at once. Try doing this first, then try doing this. And it's so right. It's so right. Because language is so different, the script is so different, the tones are so different from the language that I'm coming from, and that many of us are coming from when we're learning Chinese, that it makes sense to layer the language. Because honestly, if you spend this much time or more time, it's still going to take me till December to get all of the radicals down with the characters of the radicals, the hanzi, the pinyin, and the tones, to get them so that there's just absolutely no problem. Just automatically remember all three of those things for each 214 characters. That'll still, it's September 1st today, that will still take me till December. Like, I'm still going to be chipping away at it, but it's still going to take a while. But that is the absolute base of the language. I mean, every character is made up of these components. So I was initially annoyed that the first 100 came quick meaning-wise, but then it's taken me a long time to layer on the pinyin and the tones, and I am no longer annoyed by that. It's amazing what vacation can do. I'm pretty excited by that, because that is, again, the base of the language, and that will help me immensely going forward to be able to look at a character and at least guess the sense of it from the radicals, even if they're not used in the pronunciation, even if they're not used, they don't have the exact pinyin that I learned just in the radical in isolation, it's fine. I can still get the idea of the meaning from looking at the radicals within the characters, I think, from what I've read so far. So anyway, so that's my kind of synopsis of where I've been so far, and I'm kind of I wanted to verbalize this before I put it down into my slides for the presentation, and I wanted to kind of check in, because in not putting weekly dates on the in the YouTube anymore, I'm also not doing regular check-ins. So I think I need to put in the show calendar, yes I have one, in the YouTube channel calendar on Yahoo, on Google that I have. I think I need to, I love fluorescent lights. I think I need to put a reminder to check in regarding what I'm doing right now, like status updates once a week, once every 2 weeks, that kind of thing, because I think I've fallen off. I've done other videos, but I don't think I've as much talked about the exact methods that I'm doing right now. So I wanted to do this review video in this very cool place. I'm going to do one more turnaround here, and I'm really excited that nobody stopped me from doing this. Nobody's actually ever stopped me from doing videos anywhere yet in China or in Taiwan, which is pretty awesome, because I like doing these. These are fun. I'm trying to figure out what to end on, because that's okay looking, that's okay looking. I know this is not the important part, but it's also giving me a moment to remember how to say goodbye. Okay, we're going to end with the tree guy and my hair going crazy. Yay! Anyway, I have to go rescue my husband so we can go to the museum and geek out on some seriously cool art. Thank you so much for watching this, and for the comments that you're leaving below. If you have never commented on any of these videos, I'd love to hear your experiences with learning the Chinese language and how you did it. Did you layer up like this? Or did you learn them all at once? Did you go to a school? You know, any experiences that you had learning it, things that worked and didn't work. And that's the thing I really like about Kyle's video, is he says, or Kyle's course is he says, look, I've tried this, 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 and this, and a lot of the traditional methods didn't work for me, and they didn't work for me either. So I immediately connected, and that's why I started the course, because I figured, hey, he's got to have some things that worked for him. Oh, I found my ending shot. These are so cool. You're gonna love this. Anyway, so I thought if the traditional methods of learning Chinese didn't work for him and they didn't work for me, then maybe he would have some methods that I can snag. Look at these trees. Oh my God, I love these roots. There are so many giant, crazy trees with amazing roots in them. So we're gonna stop here in nature. What's tree? What's tree? Moo. Moo. Is that fourth tone? Don't answer. That's just me asking myself. Moo, which is not goodbye. Zatian, thank you so much. Ciao, ciao. Yeah, multilingual. Yeah, 谢谢你. Bye-bye.